It's all happened here. Everything we've ever known, done, loved, took place on this drifting, spinning ball that's our home. It's where we learned to provide, nurture, protect, thrive. And yet,
wildfires are scorching the West Coast, leaving behind a path of death and destruction.
15 inches of rain this morning.
The waters keep rising, and according to the National Weather Service,
our very success now threatens our future. Today, our greatest challenge is to learn how to grow while sustaining what sustains us. Your understanding, your science, your work are the solution. You have the power to see patterns and relationships and show us how everything and everyone are connected. You have the power to transform how we produce and consume, build and maintain, unite and strengthen, heal and nurture. You can help us see that we can no longer live apart from nature, but must live as part of it. Today, geography matters more than ever. The geographic approach, your work, and the billions of maps you make are essential for creating a more sustainable future.
Good morning, everybody. It's my absolute pleasure to welcome you back to the QE2 for our 2022 annual conference. Not only have we got a great lineup of customers for you to hear from and Esri presenters, but today is all about meeting up in person, getting back together. I don't know about you, but when I was out in the hall out there, you're meeting people you haven't seen for 2 years. It's fantastic. But above all else, today is about learning from each other. Our community, the GIS community, is continuing to expand. And during the COVID pandemic and the tough times, you all stepped up in many ways, applying geospatial expertise to support governments, local communities, health workers, and many, many more, even creating new ways of working as the country locked down. The COVID pandemic presented us with some unique challenges, and I think we can all be really proud in this room of the work that our community did to support the pandemic and in support of the pandemic. It's had real and lasting impact. So I'd like now to turn to the theme of our conference, creating a sustainable future. Climate change is an urgent global issue. Decades of industrialization, deforestation, intensive farming, they've all destroyed natural habitats. They've created immeasurable pollution and really fundamentally altered our climate. The task ahead of us to put that right and to create more sustainable ways of living and working in the future is immense. We're now living in an era that requires action. And in order to make the right decisions, it's becoming more and more important to collect the right data, to analyze it, to display it on maps, and then to disseminate it amongst our organisations and out further to the broader stakeholders. Today, you have a unique opportunity to see how GIS professionals are tackling climate change. And you're going to hear a number of stories and examples of how they're doing that. You can also see some of those stories in your free copy of Think GIS, which you would have seen as you came in to the entrance. At our virtual conference last year, you may remember, we launched a competition asking customers to submit stories about how they're using GIS to understand the impact of climate change and create new, more sustainable ways of living and working in the future. Firstly, I'd like to thank all of those people that submitted stories and participated. The submissions have all been collated into a story map that helps to showcase the work that they've done, but also hopefully acts as an inspiration and a blueprint going forward. And you can see on the screen the address for the story map. So what I'd like to do now is I'd like to announce the two winners of the competition: the City of London and Bord-na-Mona. City of London used ArcGIS to look at the development of the River Thames, trying to understand how it would be impacted by tidal flooding. And in doing so, it specified a number of projects that will help manage and mitigate that risk, as well as making the riverbank environment more sustainable. So congratulations to Tim and the team. Bord-na-Mona have been harvesting peat from the peat bogs in Ireland for the last 70 years commercially. And they're currently restoring those precious peatlands, and they're using ArcGIS to understand the measures that they need to take to reinstate biodiversity and look after the peatlands and the environment. It's also a critical part of Ireland's net zero by 2050. So a really important piece of work. So Michael and the team, thank you very much and well done. We said that we would plant a tree for each of the submissions. Well, we've done better than that. Last year we worked with our partners, the Woodland Trust, and we made a donation that's allowed them to plant 2,100 trees. So a really good effort there, thank you. Yep, why not? At Esri UK, though, we don't think it's good enough just to ask others to use our software to help manage and mitigate climate risk. We think we have to stand up and be counted too. So we've committed to reaching net zero by 2030. We did quite a lot of work to understand our carbon footprint, and we, in 2019, probably our last year of commercial operation, as was, we emitted 1,200 tonnes of carbon. And we've been working hard to try and change things. You won't be surprised that the majority of our footprint came from travel, particularly international travel, and running our head office in Aylesbury. So we've been looking where we can to avoid travel, or where we do have to travel, to use greener, different forms of travel. We've implemented an EV scheme for our staff. We've put in banks of chargers at Aylesbury. And we're fully embracing hybrid working as a way of keeping our footprint down. It's also important for us that this conference is net zero. So we've worked hard with the QE2 staff and our partners, and I want to say thank you to them all for the work they've done, to bring the footprint of this conference down as much as possible. And we've committed that what we can't bring down and avoid, we will offset. So we will make this a carbon neutral conference.